Today, we're going to look at member recruitment, eligibility, and selection. Member eligibility, there are a few key things to keep in mind. All potential members must meet both AmeriCorps and program-specific criteria in order to be eligible to serve. That criteria includes being 17 years of age or older at the start of their service term, having a high school education, either as a high school graduate or having gotten their GED, being an American citizen, either a citizen, national, or permanent resident, meaning that they have a green card that is active, and needing to pass the National Service Criminal History Check. Program criteria also needs to be met, and that includes potentially a clean driving record, an active driver's license in the state or in another state, a clean fraud check, or potentially a clean drug test. So member recruitment, who are you looking for? Are you looking for folks that are near peers, meaning they're likely 18 to 25 years of age, working with high school and middle school kids? Can they be of any age? Are you looking for folks who are older, 55 and above? Are you looking for college grads? These are things to consider. What requirements do you have for your program? Do individuals need to have a bachelor's degree or some college, or can they just have a high school education? Are there special certifications that they might need? And where are you located? Do they need to be close to your location or not? And then think about what the process is to apply. AmeriCorps requires that every program uses the AmeriCorps portal to post their position descriptions. However, you can also do an external application, and often this does have to be done in the first year because your access to the AmeriCorps portal is a bit delayed. So thinking about what that might mean, is there more information that you want as a program to understand about an applicant that the AmeriCorps portal doesn't collect for you? In which case, maybe you would do both parts, an external and a portal application. And then why should people apply to your program? Is there a location benefit? Are there additional health benefits or a housing stipend? Is it the service opportunity in and of itself? And do you offer additional professional development or career coaching options? Where do you intend to recruit people from, and how do you intend to recruit them? So looking at recruiting locally or nationally, you can use the AmeriCorps portal for that. You can use websites like Indeed, looking at different local colleges or job boards, even local high schools. And then looking to determine how you're going to recruit those folks. Passive recruitment is what we would term as just posting to a job board, versus active recruitment might be more word of mouth or going to job fairs, really talking to individuals who might be a good fit and of interest to the program. And now AmeriCorps regulations. So AmeriCorps has some very specific regulations when you're looking at recruitment of eligible members for your program. So non-discrimination is the first. AmeriCorps is open to all people from all walks of life. So keep that in mind. Non-duplication. So member positions cannot duplicate an existing staff or volunteer position, or even one that might not currently exist, but did previously. You can work with Serve Colorado staff to help you determine if something might be a duplicated effort. And then also non-displacement. So members cannot displace or replace existing staff or volunteer positions. They can build the capacity. So if an existing program has staff that serve in a particular role and they need more people to do that, AmeriCorps members may be able to assist in that capacity in a similar role, but not the exact same one. And then look at reasonable accommodations and disability inclusion. So don't let a request for accommodations, whether that's printing things in a larger font or adjusting a schedule for someone, to deter your program from hosting the member. or the applicant. Most accommodations can be met for little or no cost, and it's a lot less than you might think. And in addition to that, there's often funding available to help offset those costs if needed. Now, this doesn't mean that you would substantially change your program to accommodate an individual based on what they're looking for as an accommodation. So just keep that in mind. And again, you can work with Serve Colorado staff to help you determine what maybe is reasonable and works with your program design. And then, of course, language matters. So AmeriCorps is a service opportunity. It is not a job. It is not straight volunteer work. And members are serving their assigned community rather than being employed by a specific organization that might be serving in a particular community. So member benefits. There are a number of benefits to doing an AmeriCorps program. A few of them are listed here. So the living allowance is a stipend to offset living expenses. It is not a wage. It doesn't pop up as an hourly amount. You can calculate roughly what it would be, but it's not the same thing as a wage. Healthcare benefits are required for full-time members, and there are very specific regulations for what healthcare looks like. So it needs to meet the ACA regulations and has to be at minimum the bronze level for the healthcare marketplace. Any member less than full-time or serving in less than a full-time capacity is not required to have healthcare provided, but it is a nice benefit if your program is able to accommodate it. Childcare is available only to eligible full-time members. It is run through a vendor by AmeriCorps, and there is a whole separate eligibility and application process to childcare. It is a great benefit and should not deter folks that do have children that want to serve from doing so. Student loans. So there are some forbearance opportunities in doing AmeriCorps where student loans can be pushed off for a time being so that you're not having to pay your loan payments while you're doing AmeriCorps. And in addition, at the end, there is a possibility that some or all of your remaining loans can be covered by AmeriCorps. The Education Award is the biggest benefit that members receive at the end of their term. It is the equivalent to, the full-time award is equivalent to the Pell Grant for that year and is determined, a lesser amount determined by the slot type, anything less than full-time. It's a great benefit for folks. They can use it to pay down public student loans that they have already acquired. They can use it towards future education expenses and higher education options. And there's a lot of different ways that it can be utilized. And then also think about, what are the program defined benefits? What will the program add? Is there a housing stipend that can be provided to members? Is there additional career coaching that can be provided to members? What other benefits might be out there that would appeal to potential applicants? So member selection. Member selection is an important part of the entire enrollment process. And there's a couple of things to consider. What does the interview process look like? And who will be involved? Will host site supervisors be involved in the selection process? Do they get final say on who will be serving with them for the duration of their term? Or is it the program administrative organization that is doing it? Sometimes those are the same and sometimes they're different. And then what is the timeline between selection and the member start date? Are members selected months in advance of when they start? Is there time for them to relocate if they're coming from a different state or different area within the state? Is there more than a 2-week notice for folks to begin their time? And is that needed? And then do you use a rubric to determine eligible candidates? So what are you doing to ensure that the selection process is equitable and non-discriminatory? For many organizations, they use the same questions for the same position for every candidate that they interview. Are you doing something similar? Do you grade folks on a particular scale and then see from the totals amongst the panel of people that interview what is the highest number, and does that work for you or does it not? And then what are the next steps once a member is selected? What type of onboarding paperwork do they need to do? Do they need to move or relocate? What does that look like? Are you helping them find housing? Additional things that maybe need to be considered for them to start their program off on the right foot. And so some additional questions to consider as you're looking at this process. So how will you as the program ensure a diverse and inclusive AmeriCorps team? Are you looking for a specific demographic of people? Are you open to everyone coming? Are you stating that in your recruitment documentation and position postings? And then what steps will be taken to ensure that all AmeriCorps members are determined eligible and selected in an equitable and inclusive manner? What does that look like? Are there additional ways that you can incorporate that in your process? And then how does understanding recruitment, eligibility, and selection change the budget to run a successful program? So just keeping in mind that your budget might need to adjust a little bit as you are thinking about recruitment and eligibility. Are there additional processes that may need additional funding? Do you have folks that need specific accommodations that maybe weren't budgeted for? Are there additional trainings that you really want staff members to have in order to do the recruitment, eligibility, and selection process? These are all things to consider, and there may be more than just this, but here's a good start for you. As always, if you have any questions about this process, please talk to a Serve Colorado program officer, and we can help you with whatever you may have.